stars, cars, guitars. Coming up.
I'm never going to wear those ever again. No more, they don't fit anymore anyway. And why would I look like a flipping 80s throwback?
I think if people are going to see a band, they expect you to dress up.
The only person who I know ever notices is Elton John. And Elton will say to you, "Hey Jim, that's a nice suit. Lovely to see it again."
This is Stars, Cars, Guitars with Tony Hadley, Jim Cregan, and Alex Dyke.
Yes, welcome. It's Stars, Cars, Guitars with me, Alex Dyke, Tony Hadley, and Jim Cregan. Now, I always start with Tony's name usually first on the podcast, but I just thought, well, it's a new year. Let's see if anyone's got a problem with it, Tony.
I do.
No, not at all. I don't have a problem with anything. I'm almost horizontal at the moment with the way things are. I'm not even sure what day it is, what the date is, and where I'm going or why I'm here. But
then.
We're pleased you're here. And can I just say to fans of Stars, Cars, Guitars, you're thinking, where are the cars? Well, at the moment, that is a bit tricky. But once we get outside again, we've got lots to do with cars. But guys, whilst I've got you here, I just want to ask you, I've got this jacket, right? Which, now, when we did this last time, I had a black turtleneck on. And this jacket, when I put this jacket on with it, I feel a bit like David Soul when he was Ken Hutchinson in Starsky and Hutch. But my wife hates this jacket. It's a leather jacket. She says it doesn't fit you properly. It looks like plastic. Get rid of it. So I just thought, you know, you were fashion gurus in your time. What do you think?
What do you mean in our time? How dare you?
I think it's actually pretty cool. I quite like that retro sort of stuff. And, you know, does it fit properly or is it a bit tight?
No, it's not a bit tight. It's a bit big, Tone. That's what it is. It's a bit big.
Well, it looks all right to me. I think if you like it, you know, I tell you what, I don't do anymore. And I tried a few times, trying to buy things for my wife, like a dress or a top or something like that. And I never, ever, ever get it right. I just don't get it right. So, So, you know, they've got their own style and everything. So I just leave her to it, and maybe Justine should do the same thing.
You like going around the shops with your wife? How do you do with the going shopping? Is it, first of all, because some people, I know at least two people who know who you are, and that might present its own problem when you're down the shops. Do you go shopping with your missus to buy clothes when she's going looking for a new frock?
Well, no, I might go with her. But then I refer her to the woman in the shop who knows what she's talking about. There's sometimes, if you go down to John Lewis and stuff at High Wycombe, they've got a lady in the ladies department that sort of will help you sort of, oh, this dress will look lovely on you, darling. Oh, this one, you know, oh, this will fit nice. And so I just stand back. I don't have anything to do it. But she won't let me go food shopping with her because I start checking all the labels and go, God, have you seen how sodium monoglutamate, whatever it is?
Yeah, I've got a rule on that. The rule is if you can't pronounce if there's three words in the ingredients that you can't pronounce, throw it away. That's my.
You're stuck, I tell you.
Hey Jim, Tony's looking at this from the wrong angle, right? Tony has got a brilliant get out of jail free card. Darling, if you are going shopping and I come with you, then people are going to recognise me. They want selfies. You'll never be able to spend all that time. I'll stay at home or at least sit in the car because I've done that shopping with the wife's thing. It's dreadful. You go to the shop, right? And the shops are always too...
You're in so much trouble.
You've gone in...
so much trouble, pal.
Well, no, you've gone in the coat, right? You've got all the bags. And as soon as you get in the shop, you overheat. When you come out the shop, it's too cold because you've had to take everything off. Also, there's very limited seating. They did start putting some easy chairs for weary husbands in those shops, but there's always people already on them. And I've gone with the best intentions so many times, thinking I'm not going to complain. I'm going to give it at least 2 hours. And after about 7 minutes, I'm thinking, I want to go. I can't stand it. Tone, you are in a very enviable position.
All I'm going to say, Alex, is she's not in, is she? She's not in.
No.
Because otherwise she'd be behind you with an axe.
Yeah. She's off camera with a gun.
I'm not that
It's been nice knowing you, Alex. God bless.
I find shopping really boring. I have to say about my wife, she in fact doesn't like shopping, and she's one of the few women I know that actually doesn't like it. She will go on a mission to buy something that she needs, which is what I do. I go in, buy the suit, buy the shirt, I'm out. I hate shopping. And she's actually pretty much the same as me in that respect. Whereas my Zara, who's 14, she'll shop till she drops. And my eldest daughter, Tony, I've been shopping with her once for her birthday. And it was, Daddy, what do you think of this? I think, yeah, that's all right. And then she'll go over there. What do you think of this? Oh, that's all right. And then we'll go back to the first one. What do you think? Just buy something. But she's lovely. She's lovely.
What about when your lovely wife comes home and she's got 2 dresses? She's only going to keep one. There's the red one and the blue one. And she says, which one do you prefer? She tries them both on and you say, the red one. And what does she say? What's wrong with the blue one? You cannot win.
Does my bum look big in this? Does it look big in this? I've got to say, Alex, I'm always absolutely brutally frank. I'm brutally honest. If both of them look good, I will say to her, actually, love, they both look all right. And she said, yeah, but that's a lot. I didn't want to spend that much. I said, yeah, but you never know. It's there if you need it. Because I'd rather than have that moment of madness before you go out one day. I've got nothing to wear. What do I? That drives me crazy.
That's a very interesting remark. Is it when you've got there's a closet full of clothes? Actually, I sort of get it. Appealing to my feminine side, which you can see is obviously hugely to the fore with this white. One of my partners, I would preempt I haven't got anything to wear by taking her shopping the day before the event, whatever it was. We're going to the Grammys, we're going to a big party, something glamorous where she wants to be beautifully dressed. So we would go and we would buy something, and she loved it and she was happy with it. And she had a closet full of clothes anyway. And then we'd get ready to go to the gig or whatever it was, and she'd say, I don't like it. And I'd say, well, you loved it yesterday and it looks great on you. No, I don't like it. And I haven't got a thing to wear. I mean, that is tricky, because then you've just spent $1,000 or whatever it is on the frock, and you think you've covered all your bases. There's she's got the shoes, everything's ready to go, and then no, it's not. I don't want to wear it. So that is one of the tricky ones for men: how to recover from the moment where you're sort of thinking, I thought I'd got this right. I thought I'd covered it because I know what can happen. I didn't envisage this.
But Jim, once again, Tony has trumped us by saying, yeah, get both. The only slight mistake Tony meant was he said, they both look all right. That's like fine. You don't want to say that. You say you look fantastic, darling, in both of them. But apart from that, it's full marks to Tony. It's the Tony Hadley factor again, Jim.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right.
No. Yeah. Mind you, Jim's outdone me. $1,000 a dress. Wow,
And that was the 80s.
that was the 80s, exactly. I think the thing is, like for us, if we're going to do, a nice do, it's a black suit, a blue suit, it's a tux, there you go. It's in it. But the problem is with women, and is that if they've worn something to some sort of function or whatever, then they said, I said, well, that dress looked beautiful on you last summer or whatever. Yeah, but I wore that last summer. But who's going to remember? Well, I bet someone will. And I'm like, oh, no. And, for guys in a suit, it doesn't matter. Guys don't look at guys and go, whoa, I remember that suit from last summer. It just happened, does it? Whereas women do that. They go, but I'm going to get killed for this. Women are going to hate me.
Yeah. It's not been nice knowing you, but the only person, we're talking about suits. The only person who I know ever notices that sort of thing is Elton John, and Elton will say to you, "Hey Jim, that's a nice suit. Lovely to see it again."
Yeah, but that's because you were probably wearing Versace or something like, which was bright coloured and everything else. If you were wearing a smart black suit,
you're right. How many tuxedos have you got?
I've only got one. I need another one. I only got one, but I've got about 3 black suits and blue. I just wear black and blue, really. Yeah, simple. Yeah. Keep it simple. No patterns.
Can I just say, it's great that we're talking like guys, because here we are on our podcast, on our YouTube channel, talking like guys. And this is probably one of the few places you can still do this. But I would say to the lovely ladies, I want to...
We love you.
Of course we love you. You know, I much prefer women to men. Of course I do. They're more intelligent. They're more tender. I've always thought if every president in the world was a woman, there'd be less war. But I do want to say that, of course, women now worry about, I was in that dress last summer, because there are so many more photographs now on Instagram, and people are tweeting pictures, and Facebook. People have got their cameras out all the time. And how many times have you think, damn, I've got that jacket on again?
Not very often.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Sometimes I wear something on stage for quite a long time. Maybe a whole tour. I'll have maybe 3 different outfits that I'll rotate. But when that tour's over, I usually shelve those. I won't wear them again.
Jim, I've got to say, mate, is talking about stage clothes. Sometimes I get letters or people phone in or whatever and stuff. So, why are you going to wear those? Or journalists sometimes say, you know, I'll do the German accent. Have you still got your fleece shirts and your tight leather pants? I'm like, 9, I'm never going to wear those ever again. No more, they don't fit anymore anyway. And why would I look like a flipping 80s throwback? I go for the classic look every single time, keep it simple. But, you know, could you imagine, you know, when you get these old rockers sometimes and they're still trying to dress like a 20-year-old. To me, I don't get it. I don't get it.
But you would do if you had hits in the glam period of the early 70s, and you had very, very long hair, and let's just say you were famous for wearing a red leather jacket, right?
Yeah.
And then your hits dry up. When you go back out on the road, if you've been lucky enough to keep your hair, people want to see you as you were. Sorry, Jim.
You can always comb it forward. This doesn't move. This doesn't move at all.
But you know what I mean? If you were a glam rocker with long blonde hair, or if you were famous for, like Roy Wood, for having a big beard, you've kind of stuck with the beard, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm just glad I never had a beard.
One of the few things I like about Madonna was her ability to reinvent herself all the time. I thought that was a great move. I've known people that will have a trademark something like a moustache or a streak of red in your hair or something, and they would keep doing that forever and ever and ever. And I love the fact that Madonna would, and also David Bowie, he was great at that. I mean, he threw the whole Ziggy Stardust thing away and became the Thin White Duke. I mean, how brilliant. I mean, I love it. I love the it takes a certain amount of courage to throw away an iconic look and start another one.
Spandau kind of did the same thing because we were massive Bowie fans anyway. So, you know, you had the kind of new romantic look, you had the Scottish look, you had this look and everything else, and the slightly glammy look. But then we hit that period where we sort of wore the kind of around the true period, the smart suits with the kind of cowboy tie and stuff like that. And I was in my element because I thought, wow, this is me. This is just me. So I a lot of people, I got a lot of mums at the time saying, oh, he looks ever so smart in that suit. Oh, he's the sort of boy you should marry. He should marry him, you know. And because I had a suit and my hair was all nice and lovely and fluffy and stuff. Little did they know. And but no, so for me, I can always go back to that period and I don't look out of place. And I always look at people like Tony Bennett or Jack Jones, and they always look $1 million. And Frank Sinatra, of course. You know.
Steve Harley and I did a 2-man tour, and I wore a really beautiful suit and a collar and tie with the tie just slightly, you know, loosened at the neck, and the review came out of the opening night, and it said something like, and Jim Cregan, who played guitar to the best of his ability, looked a bit like a banker from the high street who'd escaped onto the stage by mistake, or something along those lines. So the suit went out the window immediately, and back came the jeans and a soft shirt.
I'll tell you, I've always thought looks really cool on stage. I mean, you know, not a fashion icon as such. I always liked Bruce Springsteen's look.
Hmm.
I'm a massive Springsteen fan, but he just, he'd come on with the black jeans, black shirt, white shirt, black waistcoat. He just always looks, for me, he just looks like such a rocker, but a cool, really super cool rocker. And I always thought he had it really bang on, really did.
See, I don't. I think he looks like one of the roadies, one of the stage crew. He looks like a fan. He looks like the guy who's parked the truck out the back with some of the lighting in it.
That's what he wants to look like,
well,
though.
Maybe he does. But I think if you, and this is interesting, isn't it? Because I remember when Earth, Wind and Fire at the late 70s were at their peak, and they were giving you great guitar solos. They were giving you great horns, and the band were on fire, literally live on stage with fabulous harmonies. They were dressed up in pantomime gear, and at some stages in the concert, they were flying over on wires. And someone said to me, it's taking it too far. And I'm thinking, no, this is where the Americans are really good, because they put on a show. And it was a bit over the top, and it was they've obviously brought it back down in later years. But I think if people are going to see a band, they expect you to dress up.
Well, there's two schools of thought about that. There are those people who want to identify with their public by the way they dress, and there are those who, like me, normally I always dress to go on stage, but I don't just. It's not just I bring another pair of jeans. I'll have a suit or some sort of outfit that means I've made a bit of an extra effort. But that's my thinking. I mean, there were days when I was playing in blues bands or progressive rock bands where the idea of wearing a suit was completely against everything you used to stand for. You're supposed to be there in a denim shirt and a pair of cowboy boots and old jeans. That was expected. I really do like dressing up I like dressing up because I don't have to. I mean, people say to me, why are you putting on? I'd be the best dressed person at Tesco. And the reason for that was because I can dress up. It's because I don't have to. My brother-in-law, God bless him, for years had his own company and had to dress in a suit for 30 or 40 years. You can't get him in a suit no matter what, because he hates it. It really doesn't work. Me, I put on a suit, I feel great. I love it.
I will say, Tone, I think Bruce Springsteen is a fabulous rock star, and he always looks rock and roll when he goes up on stage. I'm just saying, come on, boss, a bit more effort. That's all.
See, I bet Bruce Springsteen, I would almost put money on it. He will have a dresser and a wardrobe case, and he will have his various black jeans, blue jeans, black shirts, white shirts. So he will dress up before he goes on stage. I think the thing is with Springsteen is he wants to be like one of the boys, like, he's the guy that just got in the truck and drove down here from Nevada kind of thing. He's that kind of, and the lyrics that he writes to his songs, where then you've got like people like Bowie or Brian Ferry. I mean, love them to bits, and Elton and stuff. And for me, and I don't know if we touched on this before, but I literally have to shower before I go on stage. I go through a whole ritual, and so yeah, I put a suit on, clean shirt, everything, do my exercises. So it's a real procedure that I go through before I go on stage. And with you, Jim, I have my suit and my shirt and everything else, and my special stage shoes and my belt and my cufflinks, and it's a whole process.
Yeah.
I think it's probably worth saying, if you're Elton John, and I'm a big fan of Elton John, and you're looking back at your photographs over your career, it must be quite hard to get a photograph where you look cool, because Elton's glasses just got bigger and bigger and bigger, that the hair got bigger, the wigs got bigger. And I remember him doing that gig at Central Park I think it was the summer of 1979, 1980, when he came out dressed as Donald Duck, and he sits at the piano in full Donald Duck gear. And I wonder if he looks back at his career thinking, I made some great records, but most of the time, I look ridiculous, because Elton put so much into the stage show that he kind of lost his cool. Is that fair?
I think the thing about Elton that maybe people aren't quite as aware of as he would like is that he's incredibly funny. He's a really, really witty, fast, in a great company, and has a huge sense of humour. And I think that the costumes are a reflection of his sense of humour. I mean, he's very serious as a piano player and a songwriter and singer. I mean, he's a great musician, but his sense of humour would come out. I mean, what about the time he showed up at that gig where he had a galleon on his head, a wig and a galleon set in it? It's a full sail. I mean, it's priceless, the stuff he came up with. But you've got to take him at face value on that. He's actually just being funny and wants to give everybody a bit of a laugh. No, being cool. I don't think that Elton really ever. I mean, I obviously can't speak for him, but
yeah,
the idea of him being cool, as in David Bowie, was something he never thought he was ever going to retain. Therefore, it was all right for him to be daft. Right? When I was on tour with him, he had Legs Larry Smith from the Bonzo Dog Doodah band come out dressed in and he had a beard and moustache and everything. He came out in a wedding dress and boots and had a silver crash helmet on his head, and on the top of the crash helmet was a couple, the kind you get on the top of a wedding cake, were getting married, right? And he came out, and during one of Elton's, really big hits, he did a tap dance. They had a bit of wood down with a microphone on it, and he did a tap dance in this outfit as part of the show. I mean, there was absolutely no reason for it whatsoever. Had no place in music at all, but it was brilliant. I mean, Legs Larry Smith was just as hysterical. And the audience, of course, there's an American audience, they weren't quite sure what to make of it. But all the rest of us thought it was hysterical.
Maybe he just didn't care because he's saying, I don't have to be cool, I'm Elton John. And as you say, what an artist.
When you look at, say, people like, like David Bowie, as Jim mentioned, or Brian Ferry, people like that, they were part of a whole kind of movement as such, where Elton really wasn't. He didn't come from a movie, he came from a songwriting perspective. And for him, I think as Jim was saying, he was just having a laugh. He was like, there's a great line from Liberace. I mean, Liberace always makes me laugh with his suits and everything. And there's a bit in a TV show or whatever, a concert, and he goes, do you like the show? Do you like the show? You should do. You paid for it. It's like, and I kind of always thought of Elton as being a bit kind of that Liberace kind of slightly camp and slightly wacky, which is cool in my books.
Have you seen Michael Douglas in the Liberace movie? That's amazing. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. But what's weird? Jim, you've got to see it, mate. It's incredible. But the weird one is when Rob Lowe, who's the plastic surgeon, who really looks like he's had plastic surgery, and as the film progresses, you could see Liberace stuff as if he's had plastic surgery. I don't know how they did it, makeup or effects or whatever. It's incredible. Great film.
Yeah, I should say.
Yeah, have a look at that, Jim. Before we go, the last one of these we did, Tone saw the opportunity, he jumped in, and just like all of us, he plugged his radio show. Why wouldn't he? Why, Jim, wouldn't you plug your new album, your new record, your tour? Tone would do it. If I was doing a gig, I would be out. Rock and Roll Tom, who produces this show, is too decent. So he's not mentioned to any of us. And bear in mind, I've known Tom for, 20 years? And we've been good buddies for 20 years. He didn't even mention to me that he's written a book.
Oh, wow.
It's called Rocking the White, How Three Tottenham Brothers Invented the British Rock Festival. Tom has written this with his dad and with Ray Falk, who was one of the original guys behind it. He's the guy who booked Dylan, Hendrix. Tom, why have you been hiding your light and not plugged your book?
I know. I should have been working every mailbag letter around to the Isle of Wight Festival from 1970. No, we're really excited about it. It came out at the end of last year. My dad's written a lot of local history books about the Isle of Wight, and I'd interviewed quite a few people who were involved with the festival, and we thought, there's a book in this, and so there is. And it's the inside story of how they put the festivals on, and we were really excited that festival organiser Ray Falk, one of the three brothers who made the festivals happen, it really is a real Isle of Wight story as well, because the brothers were on the island. It wasn't people from London coming down and making this festival happen. It did all happen on the Isle of Wight, and so we've told that story, so we're really pleased with it.
Thanks, Tom.
I like it. That's brilliant, Tom. That's
We've all
really,
written
really cool.
Apart from you, Alex, when's your book coming out? I mean, I've got a book out about my life, and Tony, you've got a book out, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a book out ages and ages ago. I should update it really, but I don't know if I can be bothered.
Tell me this, Tone, if you could be bothered, and be honest with us, if you could be bothered, would Stars, Cars, Guitars get a paragraph in it?
Well, it'd have to get a paragraph in it, definitely would, because I like to plug myself and like to plug you guys as well. The thing is that when I wrote the book, I didn't physically write it. I had a ghostwriter, and she interviewed me for hours and hours and hours. Lovely, lovely lady, and I had to have it checked by 5 different sets of lawyers.
Yes, of course.
I don't know if, Jim, if you had the same thing, but it was checked so many times. And then they'd come back to you and say, you can't say that. You can't refer to this. You can't refer to that. So, really? But that's the truth.
Yeah.
But they say, yeah, but it's your truth. Unless it's confirmed by the other person, you could be sued for libel. And I've had quite a lot of that during my life. So I went, all right, well, take it out then, So I'm not sure, because the last couple of chapters, if I updated it, would be quite contentious. I'm not sure necessarily I'd want to go through that again.
Okay, well, look, I want to say to Tom, honestly, Tom, I've read some of this book. I haven't read it all yet. It's 260 pages. There's some brilliant press ads in here, some photographs I've never seen before. It's a really good book. So well done, Rock and Roll Tom. And on the next one, Tom, are you bringing back the mailbag?
The mailbag is back. And
yes.
Thank you so much for everybody who's mailed in since the last series and who's been finding us at our website, which is starscarsguitars.co.uk. You can find all of our previous episodes of the podcast there, and you can dip into them and listen at any point. You can comment on them, and there's a little box in the corner of the screen that you can click on, contact the guys, fill out a form, and we will get to your message in a future episode.
And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we really, really would like you to do, we've got an amazing prize up for grabs. If you go into our draw, we're going to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and then we're going to bring out a money can't buy prize.
What's that then?
You'll find out next time round, Tone, because it involves you more than it involves me and Jim.
Right, okay. Brilliant. I love it.
I'll see you next time, guys.
Listen, good to see you. Well done on the book, Tom. Brilliant, mate.
Yeah,
really good.
Tom.
Well done.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Stars, Cars, Guitars was produced by Tom Stroud.